Why me? Well, I bring to the table an accounting and audit background, auditing government entities such as cities, counties, colleges, assorted nonprofits, and manufacturing entities. So I understand the inner workings of an organization. And I'm a quick study. Have an ability to digest financial and other data. I started an insurance agency in financial services from scratch about 20 years ago. I've been actively engaged and productively engaged with the school system for nearly 2 decades. As a volunteer and officer in the PTO, Project Achieve, levy committees, an advocate for CCOE, just addressing the achievement gap. As a parent, I'm ready, willing, and able to discuss issues of race, class, and equity. By temperament, I'm very, in my opinion, even keeled. My perception. And the skill sets that I bring will be an asset to the board. I view myself, and others have, as being analytical, willing to listen, passionate, able to see the picture, big picture, but sensitive to the details. I understand that multiple and competing constituencies exist. I understand and try to share the concept of self-interest, but putting an adjective in front of it called enlightened self-interest. That as we improve the quality of our schools' results for all students, we improve the quality of our community, i.e. housing value, perceived value around the country. I have a quiet tenacity. I believe that we as a community can do it. For if no community, or if any community within the state of Ohio or within this country can address the issue of financial resource accumulation and proper allocation and closing the achievement gap, if we really can't do it as a community, really, as I've told many others, it's probably really not going to be done within this county or country anytime soon as a school system. There are many schools that have done it. I'm willing to help make a difference. Why now? I ask you, what better time? We're potentially going through a leadership transition, a changing of the guard, and awareness of the gap exists, but actions have not been adequate to resolve it. Another point, someone I've come to respect asked me if I would. As I said to our superintendent nearly 20 years ago, I stepped forward so that my yet unborn grandchild does not have to. We have a challenge, actually an opportunity, to redefine and to resolve the gap. Opportunity is often coupled with the requirement of hard work, tenacity, and willpower. I believe that our community, if properly educated and motivated, has a latent will to support resolution. The co-equal and key issue that affects the district has been well talked about and probably talked about throughout the course of the evening, and that's financial resources, their accumulation and their allocation. It's probably the prime issue that affects us. But without addressing the achievement gap within this community, it really doesn't matter what resources we have to bear. How am I doing for time? Halfway? Yeah. Okay. Great. We're doing good. I have one last thing to read to you, if I have it here. It's by Charles Osgood, written in 1986, I should say. And it's entitled, Pretty Good. This is about a fictitious student in a fictitious school, in a fictitious city, in a fictitious state, in a fictitious country. There once was a pretty good student who sat in a pretty good class and was taught by a pretty good teacher who always let pretty good pass. He wasn't terrific at reading, he wasn't a whiz-bang at math, but for him, education was leading straight down a pretty good path. He didn't find school too exciting, but he wanted to do pretty well. And he did have some trouble with writing, since nobody taught him to spell. When doing arithmetic problems, pretty good was regarded as fine. 5 plus 5 didn't always have to add up to be 10. A pretty good answer was 9. The pretty good class that he sat in was part of a pretty good school, and the student was not an exception. On the contrary, he was the rule. The pretty good school that he went to was there in a pretty good town, and nobody there seemed to notice he could not tell a verb from a noun. The pretty good student was in fact part of a pretty good mob. And the first time he knew what he lacked was when he looked for a pretty good job. It was then, when he sought a position, he discovered that life could be tough, and he soon had a sneaking suspicion pretty good might not be good enough. The pretty good town in our story was part of a pretty good state, which had pretty good aspirations and prayed for a pretty good fate. There once was a pretty good nation, pretty proud of the greatness it had, which learned much too late, if you want to be great, pretty good is, in fact, pretty bad. And I thank you.